This is the Shine On You Crazy Daisy podcast, and I'm your host, Trudy Simmons from the Daisy Chain Group, providing platforms for women entrepreneurs to be seen and heard. This platform is for women entrepreneurs that want to hear the real stories of what it takes to be yourself and run a business with all the different hats that you might have to wear. These are the stories of the tenacious, the rebellious, and the resilient women that are working towards the future that they want to build for themselves and their families. Hello and welcome to Shine On You Crazy Daisy podcast and Shine On You Crazy Daisy book volume 2. I am here with the incredible Manon Swaving from Manon Cecile. Manon, please tell us about your business.
Yeah, so my business has been evolving. So I used to do coaching and I taught people how to become professional coaches. But over the years, I've been working more and more with women, and then discovered that my business really is, my passion is about bringing more feminine energy into this world. And so also I've discovered that this is really not about gender. So although I gather a lot of women around me, my broader mission is to awaken the feminine within all of us, because I just really feel that we need to balance out this world a bit.
I love a broader vision, you know that.
Yes.
That's brilliant. I know that there was a period of time where you sat and asked yourself, what do I feel and what do I want? When you asked yourself those questions, what changed for you from answering them?
Yeah, so it was actually, I was sitting in the playground with my two kids, and my 4-year-old son was throwing sand in his sister's eyes. And I got irritated, right? And by that time I withdrew from work and I was home for about a year. And I got irritated. And if you'd asked me that question, what do I want? Then I wanted probably him to stop. But because I asked myself, what do I feel? I went underneath the feeling of irritation, and what came to me was the shockingly truth that I was bored and that I just really wanted to get back to work. And so it wasn't about them fighting or sand throwing. It was just about me having to do this all over again. And, the chorus and the playground. And it was just, I longed to get back to work. And so what it did for me was to get underneath the surface of things and back to what it is that I truly, truly wanted. And I think those questions are really important to ask yourself first. How do you feel, especially when you feel, prickly? And then okay, and then what do you want, really? Yeah.
What did you do from that point then? Did you then decide I'm going back to work immediately, or was it a slow progression?
No, it was like one of those do, right? And so I went back home and I said to my husband, I said, that's it. I'm going back to work. I don't know how we're going to do this, because we had good reasons for me not to work, because we could not get our heads around 2 jobs and 2 babies and all of that. But I said, I need your support with this, and I'm going. Like, I'm not the best version of myself in the full-time mommy job. And that's not fair for them, and not for him, but also not for me.
Yeah. Wow. So from there, you then end up making this big move to Singapore from the Netherlands. What lessons did this teach you, and what did you find that you did and didn't want?
Yeah, so that was interesting. So it took me it took me a while to get back into out of the full-time mommy job back into work, right? So it was 3 years later when I had everything sorted and I had everything I wanted, a business, and it was going really smooth, that my husband said, no, well, now we're going to go to Singapore. And that just went, oh yeah, let's just go back to the full-time mommy job and do it all over again, right? So I think the biggest lesson here was that I was so afraid to fall back. And I was so resistant of letting go what I had cultivated and created, that as soon as I landed in Singapore, I didn't give myself enough time to really settle into the new environment. And so I was so focused on setting up that business again and doing what I did in Europe, doing it here in Singapore, that I really forgot to go inside and calibrate and to really see, what is this move of spirit to put me in here, right? And what is there for me to learn? And so because I was moving away from something I didn't want, being full-time at home, I think I clung on to the first thing that came, and it was actually not what I was meant to be doing here. And so businesses I wanted to set up failed. I lost lots of money doing that. I had success to some extent, but it was like muddling through. Oh, did you hear that?
Thunder.
There's like thunder here going, yay. Yeah, that was not good. So I think the biggest lesson for me here was that if I were to do it again, I would probably relax into that a little bit and to find what it is that I really wanted and come from a place of inspiration rather than from a place of, fear of not wanting something. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, massively, because the minute we come from a place of fear, you're going to end up with something that doesn't sit. I love that you use the word calibration. It can't sit with you if you're not calibrated in a way that you're feeling like you're inspired to take that inspired action forward. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it was very true, and it felt like I felt like an uphill battle. It was really it was muddling through. It was hard work. And I don't think, running a business, when it comes from a true point of inspiration, bringing your gifts into the world, I don't think that's supposed, you need to work it, but it doesn't need to be hard work in the sense that it's draining. And it was to some extent. Yeah.
Wow. The other thing that I love that you talk about, and I talk about this all the time, is giving yourself the gift of investment into your business. And I say this to people a lot, that we need to invest in ourselves and in our businesses so that we can move forward. You gave yourself that gift of investment so that you could shift everything for you and your business. And it allowed you to question who your circles were for. But what led you to make that conscious decision?
Yeah, so that's, you're going to get a very personal answer here. So, so my dad passed in October. And it was, just last year, October, which is almost a year ago. And, apart from when a loved one passes, you get that, very, very conscious reaction of, life short. Yeah. But it was also, my mom passed away previously, like long ago. So it was, and I'm an only child. So it was like, I had a deepened sense of it's up to me. Like, this is it. Like, I'm my own parent. So I had a deepened sense of responsibility for my life. And so, and I guess when I reflected in those weeks later, I thought, life's just too short to do what I love and to treat that as a side hustle, right? If I really want to bring into my gifts into the world, I really need to game up. I really need to shape up and really make it happen. And another interesting thing that really shifted for me was that with the passing of my dad, there was a heritage. And I have been married, bear with me here. I'm married in community goods. I think that's how you call it, right? That your money is my money and everybody's, I don't know how you say that in English, but so that's the deal. But in the testament of mom and dad, what I discovered was that the heritage that came to me was outside of the community goods. So back in 1974, they actually explicitly put that in. I think now it's in every testament, but then back then they actually explicitly asked for it. And so I was really moved by that because it was a significant amount of money and it was mine. It was really, really mine. And I didn't really sit with it first. I kind of got it. And then my husband was about, how can we invest it and all of that. And I had vivid dreams of my dad coming in and standing before me and going, Manon, this is your money, like with that finger, right? And so I woke up and thinking, it is. So what do I do with this, right? I better spend it really well. And yeah, so it was, I woke up, I remember waking up one morning and thinking, I'm going to invest it. I'm going to really invest it in me and in my business, and then really grow something big out of it. And so, yeah. So, yeah, I think that was those two. Like, life's too short to treat your beautiful gifts as a side hustle, period. Right. And we're like, I know that you've touched so many talented women. And so any women who's listening out there, you've got gifts, and it's not a side hustle. It is not. You're needed to bring it big into the world. And for me, that money was just like, let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
And you have.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
What's one lesson that you've learned that you would want every entrepreneur to know?
I think that's it. I think it's investing, because, if I look back, there were so many times that I tried to figure out stuff on my own. I'm such a tech phobe, right? I have zero ambition to really understand it either. And so websites and back-end programs, get me really, really nervous, but I really do need them, right? And we had these talks about, a number of things that I just went, how do you do that? I just don't know, right? So to invest in somebody who could tell you or show you or do it for you, like, that just made the huge difference for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And removes that block of, I can't do this.
Yeah, because, or acknowledge it. I cannot do this. Yeah. Let's find someone who can, right? And then,
it.
Get moving. Yeah. Oh. And and for me, I invested, if I would name the number, people would go, that's nothing. But for me, it was a lot of money. And, but I got it back like triple this year. It's fine. It was fine.
That's definitely worth hearing as well for people. Is that thing of when you invest in the right things, and and the business that you're doing is what you want, then that investment does come back to you, because it's time that you're not spending as well in a lot of ways. So,
oh my goodness, the time I spend on making lists of the women that came to my circle, and who paid and who did not, and who did I write a confirmation letter. And then I made a ton of mistakes as well, and I didn't, terrible. So none of that's all history. Like, that's all automated and well done.
Yes. What's your favorite business book?
Yeah, so I guess it's not a typical business book, but it's Wild Feminine. And so Wild Feminine is Tommy Lynn Kent. And she talks about the importance of the feminine, right? And it's before the masculine. So we need to go in first to really go in and connect with our inspiration, to calibrate. And then when we find what it is that what we really stand for, and what we really yearn for, not wanting, grabbing, but really yearn for, then we can move forward. And I think, it's also what I teach, and it's what I, and practice, because I need it. But I think, looking back in my journey, if I would have done that straight from the beginning, I probably would have gone even further already. But, it's all perfect, but it's an atypical business book that I highly recommend. Amazing. Highly recommend for both men and women.
Manon, this has been such a pleasure, and thank you so much for your openness and talking about all the things that you have. And thank you for being a part of the book. It's exciting to get this out to people. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for doing this. I'm so excited. Let's have lots of people be inspired.
Shine on.
Yay!
Thank you so much for watching the Shine On You Crazy Daisy podcast. If you've liked what you've seen today, then please make sure that you click the subscribe button to this channel to see more inspiration and motivation as more of these stories keep coming out. And if you want even more, click on the link below this video and go and have a look at the series of books Shine On You Crazy Daisy, and get even more inspiration and motivation for you and your business.